Hey, welcome to Cafe Maddy. Today I'm going to be reviewing and introducing you to 12 different Korean convenience store beverages. And don't worry, you don't have to go to Korea and go to a 7-Eleven to find these yummy drinks because it's very likely you'll be able to find all of these at your local H Mart or Asian grocery store. I chose some of my favorite drinks I grew up with in South Korea and also included a few traditional ones, and these are all cold drinks that I think you'll love. I'll do a Korean tea review in another video and maybe if you want a Korean alcohol review as well. So don't forget to subscribe to Cafe Maddy to see more of these videos. Without further ado, let's jump right in. Here are my 4 favorite Korean drinks that are not necessarily traditional, but they've been around for decades and easily found in Korean convenience stores. We have the Korean pear juice, 아침 햇살, rice milk, banana milk, then cocoa grape, which is pretty much a children's drink. To start, first of all, if you haven't tried a Korean pear ever, aka Asian pear, starting with this drink is not a bad option because this juice literally tastes like someone squeezed a Korean pear fresh and put it straight into the glass. This drink is so good. It also comes in a small can if you don't want to commit to a whole glass, but in my opinion, this is the most underrated Korean drink out there. And then we have 아침 햇살. This is a type of rice milk that tastes like sweet toasted rice. It's quite different from the traditional Korean shike, which is also a rice drink, because this is milkier and really, I don't know anything else that tastes like this, and this is so good.
It smells like rice.
It doesn't taste quite like horchata, but it has that sweet, toasted, nutty flavor that you can't find in anything else. At some point, it was kind of hard to find this even in Asian grocery stores, so I used to stock up on them whenever I saw it. And of course, you might have already heard of the Korean banana milk. Very famous Korean convenience store drink. Adults and children alike, they love it. I don't usually drink this on its own because it has that artificial banana flavoring and it's a little bit too sweet for me, but here is what is a game changer. Add a shot of espresso with some ice and make a banana milk latte. That easy. And it is an absolute masterpiece. You'll thank me later. Absolutely delicious.
Wow, this is so yummy. So good. So good.
Then we have cocoa grape. This is a very sweet and fun drink. The base liquid tastes like sweet green grapes and you get these yummy squishy coconut jelly inside that gives a fun texture. Kind of like boba with jelly. Honestly, this is a children's drink and I picked it up today because I just hadn't had it in a while. And I remembered how I used to shake up the can a lot so that I could get all the jelly, but I probably won't get this again because it's just a little too sweet and a hassle to eat.
I remember to drink this with the jelly, you'll have to shake it really fast and drink it like this because otherwise you won't get the jelly and it'll be all stuck in the bottom. So it's a little hard to eat. I would say if you're a kid, then try this because it's pretty good. Fun to eat, but it's more like a childhood drink that I had. As an adult, I don't know if I would recommend this. And the actual drink part tastes like semi-sweet grape juice, and then the coconut jelly is the coconut part. So I wonder how they came up with this. I think I'm gonna go back to my banana milk coffee because yeah, that's good.
Next is also a beloved Korean traditional drink called shike. Shike is made by fermenting rice with malt and sugar, and this brand called Pirak Shike is the most widely known brand in Korea. It comes in a can like this and also in a big bottle. When you drink shike, whether it's from the bottle or a can, make sure you mix it well because it has literal grains of cooked rice in it that you can enjoy with the drink. You know, growing up, I never knew shike was fermented because I guess I associated fermentation with funky or sour flavors, but shike is more nutty and delicious and sweet. When I was a kid, my favorite part of shike was the floating rice that came with the drink. I remember always swirling the cup so that I could get every grain of rice with my drink. As for the taste, you can taste the sort of nutty taste from the cooked rice, but still cold, sweet, and refreshing.
Almost like a horchata. It's like a Korean version. So the flavors are different, but it does remind me a little bit of horchata. Now I know why I love horchata. It tastes like shike. Except for shike, you have these like rice residues underneath. So when you drink it, you have a little bit texture to chew on. And I don't know, this is a really nostalgic childhood drink for me, and I think I'm gonna love it forever.
So if you haven't tried shike ever, I highly recommend looking for this at H Mart because you might fall in love with it. Next up is Omija. Omija is a very traditional and maybe lesser known drink to the Western world. Omija is a reddish berry that originated in China and now mostly cultivated and enjoyed in China and South Korea. The English name is apparently Schizandra, but I'm gonna call it Omija because that's a name I knew growing up ever since my grandma introduced it to me as a kid. I've never seen an Omija berry in person, but apparently this is what it looks like, and the O in Omija means 5, and it indicates the 5 flavors that come together in this tea that makes it a very unique and decadent drink. And the 5 flavors come from different parts of the berry. The sour and salty from the peel, sweet from the flesh, a spiciness and bitterness from the seed. Usually it comes in a syrup form like this in a jar, but I found it in powder form too. And these you can dissolve it in water, so we'll be trying those today as well. You can tell Omija tea is a popular drink in Korea because there is such a large variety of products centered around this Omija tea. Here we have a powder stick form reinforced with vitamin C, and this is another powder form with an added pomegranate flavor. So I'm gonna go ahead and add some seltzer and ice to each cup, and you can drink Omija cha either hot or cold since the fruit syrup will mix pretty well either way. But I like it cold. Okay, so I tried all of them, 4 different brands, and here's the deal. I was hoping the ones with a pretty color would taste good since it would look so good to serve to guests when they come over, but the one in the glass jar, which had the ugliest color, it tasted the best. The powdered ones tasted a bit too artificial, almost like Kool-Aid, and the other one tasted too much like kombucha rather than the original Omija that I knew. If you decide to buy Omija at H Mart, I hope you pick the syrup in the jar. And Omija is basically like the Dr. Pepper of Korean drinks. The flavor is complex and delicious, and if you really taste it and think about it, you can taste all 5 flavors. It's a really special and delicious drink, so I highly recommend. I'll put the link of this jar below, and let's move on to the next one. Have you guys ever had Misugaru? It's pronounced Misugaru. Misugaru. My guess is that you probably never heard of this unless you grew up in Korean culture, but this is a very common snack that I drank as a kid. Misugaru is a traditional Korean beverage made from a mixture of various grain powders, including barley, soybean, black sesame seeds, brown rice, and sometimes black bean. At Asian supermarkets, you'll be able to see them in boxes like this with different types of blends. Here I have a black rice blend in one box and a brown rice quinoa blend in the other. The origins of Misugaru can be traced back to ancient times when it was consumed as a nutritious and energy-boosting drink by farmers and laborers. Misugaru, when mixed with water and sugar, it becomes a slightly thick and smooth drink, almost like a smoothie, and it tastes nutty and sweet. I found several types of Misugaru at H Mart, and the smaller boxes had individually portioned Misugaru that you're supposed to be mixing with water. And the large pouch of Misugaru was the healthier option with no added sugar, so you'll have to portion it yourself and add your own sweetener of choice. This is how you make Misugaru. Simply scoop some into a cup and mix it with water. Misugaru by itself is almost always pretty bland, so usually a sweetener like sugar is added. For my unsweetened one, I'm gonna add some date syrup and whisk everything together. The first one, the one that says 12 grain Misugaru, is my favorite. Once you mix it with water, it dissolves pretty well except for the crispy rice that floats to the top. So when you drink this, there's a fun crispy texture going on along with a nutty, nutritious drink. The 15-grain dark Misugaru with black sesame, purple rice, black beans, and other dark-colored grains and beans. This one also had some crispy purple rice that floats to the top, and it was nutty with the fragrance of black sesame. The only downside, I guess, would be that it had so much added sugar to balance out the flavors, but otherwise I enjoyed it a lot.
I would probably get both and stock up on both.
And lastly, this was our healthiest option where we put some date syrup instead of sugar, and the Misugaru had a blend of 20 grains. Honestly, this one unfortunately tasted the worst. So these were the two products that I did like, and if you want to try this out, it makes a pretty good snack in between meals. Add a couple of ice cubes to it, and it can be a nutty and sweet treat in the summer. Enjoy! Misugaru. Last but not least, and maybe actually the best, remember I showed you the Omija Syrup before? I want to show you guys a few more of these Korean fruit syrups. Chung is a broad term for different types of syrups, usually made with fruit. And when it comes to fruit syrup or chung, they're basically made like this. You get a large sterile glass jar, then you clean and dry your fruit. Then you fill the jar with a 1-to-1 ratio of sugar and fruit. Then in about 100 days, the fresh fruit flavor infuses into the syrup, and now you have fruit syrup that straight up tastes like the fresh fruit itself. You've probably already seen a lot of videos by Johnny Kyung-hoo, who makes a lot of chung, super cool channel, so check out Johnny Kyung-hoo if you want to learn more about chung and all things pickled and fermented, Korean style. So this fruit syrup, it's not like we drizzle this over pancakes or anything, but chung is usually used as a tea base. If you mix a few tablespoons of this with hot water, it becomes hot tea, good for your immune system. And if you mix it with cold water and ice, it becomes a refreshing iced tea. When you go to the tea section in each mart, or sometimes I've seen this even at Key Foods, you'll be able to see jars of these chungs. And I'm gonna show you two of my favorites and two of the most typical chung you'll find in a Korean household. One is Maesil chung, green plum syrup, and the other one is pretty specific. It's Jeju Hallabong Citron honey, also a chung made with this particular citron that you can mainly find in the southernmost Jeju island in South Korea. As you can see, the Jeju honey citron chung has these chunky pieces of the fruit, which is really excellent, but usually most chung you'll see will be strained and smooth like this plum one. For my drink today, I'm gonna mix 3 tablespoons of the chung and some water. And how sweet you want it is really up to you, but 2 to 3 tablespoons is just enough for me for a full cup of water. And that's it. You don't need anything else. You've just made a decadent, beautiful Korean summer drink. Hallabong tea and Maesil cha, Korean plum iced tea. Shall we move on to the tasting? This is our Jeju Hallabong citron tea. First of all, look at this beautiful color. The Jeju Hallabong fruit is a unique citrus hybrid primarily grown in South Korea's Jeju Island. It's known for its distinctively sweet flavor with floral notes and a vibrant orange color. And it's a popular regional delicacy enjoyed nationwide, and now that you're watching this, worldwide. You can't go wrong with this one. Highly recommend to try this as your first chung if you haven't already.
This might be my favorite.
And next we have our Maesil cha, or Maesil tea. Cha is tea in Korean. The Korean maesil is a tangy and tart fruit that's not really eaten as a fruit itself, but usually enjoyed in this syrup form. It's historically also been enjoyed for its health benefits like helping in digestion, a good source of antioxidants, and boosting the immune system. Matter of fact, I grew up with my mom giving me hot maesil cha that she made from scratch every winter when I got sick.
This is actually very close to what I remember eating this as a kid.
Maesil by itself is pretty sour and tart, but when made into an iced tea from its syrup, the tart and sweet flavors balances out so well. It also develops this complex flavor profile from the fermentation process that you will not get from anything else. This is also a must try. So if you're up for it, try to find these 2 jars, the Jeju Hallabong chung and the Korean Maesil chung. And that's a wrap. I hope you guys enjoyed this video and got a little bit more familiar with some Korean drinks. Please do let me know if you get to try any of these because I'd love to know your thoughts on them. Also comment below if I missed any of your favorites and tell me more about your national drinks that are lesser known to the rest of the world. Recently, a friend of mine introduced me to the Peruvian chicha morada and I fell in love with it. I would appreciate some more recommendations so I could go try more of these beverages from around the world. That's it guys, I'll see you guys on the next video. Bye!